So occasionally you folks tell me you got ills, you know, this thing hurts me, back, knee, shoulder, whatever. And I say, I got stuff for that, you know, aside from exercises. So these, I've known about them for, geez, probably like 40 years. They're these little, you know, the current common thing you might be hearing is salon paws. They'll advertise that on television. That's more mainstream. These guys have been around for a long time. They're actually a German company, but they're making the items in Singapore and Thailand and then marketing it throughout Asia. So it's like this big sticky Band-Aid thing. So if you have something chronic that's bothering you, neck, shoulder, knee, back, all that kind of stuff, muscle aches, joint aches, you put it on there, and within about 20 minutes or so, it feels so hot you want to pull it off.
On fire. I tried that.
Yeah. So it's got the capsicum. That's one of the words. There's another word similar, just different ending on it or whatever. Regardless, you get them on Amazon. You get them like a pack of 5 for like $10. Get a pack of 20 of them, it's like $30 or whatever. You know, it's a good deal. I keep them on hand because I hand them out all the time. Sometimes I've actually given classes where my neck was bothering me, like it was just real stiff. I overdid something, and within a half hour, an hour or so, it's like, oh, mobility's back again. I can still tell it's there, but the mobility gets better. Because what happens, it gets so hot that your blood gets drawn to it. So it's kind of rushing to it, and whatever inflammation you might have, it's taking away the inflammation with the blood flow. So very, very hot. It doesn't burn the skin, but it does get very sticky. So if you put on some part of your body that's got hair, it will be very painful pulling it off. So I've done it on my lower back, and I just shave it a little bit, and then it comes off much easier. Nobody critiques me for having body hair, but you know, you just gotta be careful because it is very sticky and very hot. If you need any of these, let me know. I can bring a couple of them, or just yourselves go on Amazon. But someone at my class the other day said her knee was kind of bothering her, chronic knee issue. So I said I'd bring some of this stuff.
My acupuncture doc sells something like that, but they're Chinese herbs.
Yeah.
So they're totally different, and it works real well.
Yeah, same concept. It's getting the blood moving. What's kind of unique about some of the Asian formulas between these and the liquid stuff, you know, I got the little bottles of stuff that I mix up, is that they reduce inflammation and at the same time promote circulation, which usually if you're taking some kind of, you know, Tylenol or, you know, Advil, acetaminophen, what's the other one? Ibuprofen. A lot of times they're anti-inflammatory, and then over time they start causing problems with the digestion, kidneys and liver problems. It's like, no. These, you put them on the outside, and they work. They're good things. So if you got questions, let me know. Otherwise, we should get started. So it turns out that person didn't show up here, but you guys get the sales pitch. All right, so we start feet together, feet apart. Soften your hips, soften your knees, relax your shoulders. So we're back to doing this heart-shaped movement for a little bit. Expand the lungs and chest, and push down to the ground. Everything relaxed, everything loose and comfortable, free to move. Inhale, arms up, chin up. Arms down, chin slightly down. Shift a little bit here and there, release more tension if you need to. Inhale. Exhale. Eyes are heavy. Focus is soft. Relax your eyes so the optic nerve gets a little bit of a break. Push down and out. Inhale. As much as you can, breathe through your nose. Exhale through the nose. Arms up, tongue up. Put the tongue behind your front teeth. On the way down, tongue goes to behind the bottom front teeth. Inhale. Arch your back. Exhale. Round your spine. Trying to get the spine to move. Each vertebrae up and down the spine, kind of like a wave of movement. Inhale. So if this is opening and expanding, right about here it would be closing and contracting. Push your stomach muscles back, that squishes the diaphragm. Inhale. Relax the same area. Exhale. Hips and knees are already bent. Your thighs are just slightly flexed as if you're holding a beach ball between your thighs. Inhale. Exhale. Try to become aware of your feet. Shift your hips forward. So just put the weight on the ball of your foot. Become flat on your foot. As you push down, shift your hips back so the weight goes to your heels. Inhale. Exhale. So that's the connection from your fingertips all the way to your feet, your toes. When you shift forward, you try to feel your big toe, your little toe, the ball of your foot. You feel your foot flat. When you shift back, try to feel the weight on your heels. Inhale. Exhale. So we'll do this one a couple more times, and we'll go into the other one that we were doing last month. Inhale. Exhale. So the other one was this, where we kind of shrug our shoulders and then reach your shoulders to the ground as you sink your hips a few inches. Scoop up like you're gathering something from off the ground. When you get to your shoulder height, turn so the hands are straight up and down. Relax your fingers and your thumb. Expand your lungs again as you breathe in. Bring your arms in front and close. Breathe out. And breathe in again as you come in. Down and out. So you decide how much or how little you shift or sink or raise your shoulders, sink to the ground. You're in control of all of it. And breathe out. Inhale. Chin up, arch your back. Chin down. Round your back slightly. Inhale. Exhale. Feel the tension. Feel the stretch. Find somewhere in between. And breathe out. Shoulders, wrists, and elbows are bent. Hips, knees, and ankles are bent. You're managing your spine through your skull. Your head moving up and down puts the waves in the spine. Down and out. Up. Down. Gather in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We'll probably get one more in before the 5 minutes. The music. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. In. Yeah, look at that, almost perfect timing. Splash, flick, stretch the neck up and then down. Same to the right, deeper breath. Down and out, straight up. Straight down. So much of this stuff that I teach with this, it seems like there could be the metaphysical or the mystical end of it when you start talking about energy flow in your body, and that a lot of it it's physiology, and you kind of look at it, it's like, oh, this stuff makes sense. The whole rolling of the spine has to do with the not just the flexibility of the spine with the muscles and the joints, but the cerebral spinal fluid, which for the most part just sits in the some cavity in the spine where it's held in there, and unless we're doing something to get it to move, it doesn't always get circulated as much up to the top of the brain. So it's kind of pretty cool. That's a pump. Your lower back is the pump. When it arches and rounds, it gets that wave going, and then the cerebral spinal fluid gets moving. That has a connection to Alzheimer's disease. They say people that don't move, don't get the cerebral spinal fluid moving, have a greater chance. And there's studies and research being done on it. So kind of cool stuff. It all has some kind of connection back to physiology if you look for it. Okay, so we got the 8 pieces of brocade. We start with our feet together, again, a little bit apart. Might switch up the order today, a little different from what we've been doing, but still we'll have this one here. Where you're spinning the ball, come behind your body so your hands at the base of the skull and on your lower back. The first one is just turn your head. So you're just stretching the neck. Come back to the front, hands behind. So breathe in when you're not twisting. When you do twist something, mainly your neck at this point, let the exhale happen. Back to the front. Inhale. So when you put your hand behind your back, a lot of us will have this tendency to lift the shoulder and tighten up that muscle between your neck and your shoulder, the trapezius muscle. Try to relax your left shoulder. Back to the front. So that's the first one, just turn your head. Second one, make sure your knees and hips are straight and pull your right shoulder back to get the whole spine to twist. And then your chin goes towards that shoulder. Back to the front. Keep everything loose, everything relaxed. Inhale. So it's first the shoulders, and then the chin at the end as you exhale. Inhale at the front. Relax the shoulders. Exhale as you do the twist. All right, so we're gonna just kind of keep running through these kind of quick here. The same thing again. We do the twist. So that's like version 1 and 2. We come back to being square with the front wall here. Dip your shoulder. And again, still try to look above. Back to where we started. Spin. Inhale. Twist. Exhale. That's all fine. Square up. And if you start with your chin to the right and then just try to dip, then your chin's already in the right spot. Square back up. Inhale. Relax the shoulders. Twist the spine. Turn the chin. Square back up. Chin to the left still if you can. And then your eyes just kind of walk up the wall, up the ceiling, however high you can go above. All right, let's keep going. So next one we're going to do is horse stance. Fingers on the inside. Put your rear end back like you're sitting down into a chair. Round your spine as much as possible. Use your arms to straighten and look up however high you can above your head. So always come back to the center spot. Round your spine and breathe out. Arch and breathe in. So that's the first one, just straight up and down. Second one, when we come down, you try to bring your left shoulder to the right knee. Back to the center. Inhale. Exhale. Right shoulder, left knee. So that's the second one. Third one, you shift your hips. And then try to come across. Back to the center, equal, horse stance. Shift to the left with your hips. Twist to the left. Look to the left. You know, if you know the whole sequence, you just jump to it. But first one was just square. Next one is shift. Next one is look behind. If that's fine, you look to the right wall, or whatever right in this room would be, and then above your head again. Back to the center always. Inhale. Shift. Exhale. So you got look behind, look to the side. If you can, try to look above your head. Inhale. Exhale. If you want to do it in one breath, yeah, that's fine. Just turn your head and look all around. Let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale. So usually you find one or two of them that feel better than the others, and maybe you gravitate towards those. So while we're still in the horse stance, again, I'm going to shrug my shoulders, reach my shoulders to the ground as I gather in. Arms come up in front to cover your body. We call that iron arms. You're protecting yourself with iron. Like you're pulling a bag of potato chips apart. You pull. By the time we finish, this hand turns into a fist, this other hand opens. Relax your shoulders, sink your waist. Slowly down, slowly back up. Gently twist, pull the bag apart, relax your shoulders, sink your hips. So this kind of goes back to the same thing with the main joints. You're managing your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders, your hips, your knees, your ankles, and to some extent you're either arching or rounding your back. This one, your back is mostly neutral. So I kind of come up, down, like you're pulling a root out of the ground, a carrot. Split. Let the arrow go. So it's got the wood theme again. Up, down. Anytime you're pulling, like this pulling apart, that's got the wood theme to it. All right, so the next hand variation, this one turns into a chop. You pull your wrist back. This other hand now is a fist. So they just kind of switched places. You went from a fist to open to chop and fist. Hands open again. Reach down, pull up, pull apart, do the fist, you cover your eye, and then you switch. Chop, fist, relax your shoulders. Reach down, pull up, inhale. Exhale. Chop, fist. If this one's all good, this makes 2 fingers. And then this hand goes 2 fingers up on a 45-degree angle. So it's like awareness. It's like they're doing the same thing, but they're doing different directions. So pull up. First one is a fist. Hands open by your eye. Second one, pull into a chop, make a fist. Third one, 2 fingers. And then 2 fingers up 45 degrees to the opposite side. So it's like without even looking, you can feel if it's in the right spot. So let's do one more and then we'll move on. Inhale. Exhale. Chop, fist. 2 fingers, 2 fingers. All right, so let's come in a little bit closer again. Spin the big beach ball, squish the ball, stretch the ball. So this one, the first one, is I reach up and down, I'm just keeping my head level. Feel the tension, relax the tension. Hips and knees bent, elbows and shoulders are bent, main joints are bent, right? Spin to the other direction. Squish, stretch, lock your arms and knees for a moment, and relax your knees and elbows. Hands keep moving. Inhale. Exhale. Second one is to look up. Chin all the way up. Exhale. So whichever hand starts out on the bottom, that'll be the one reaching up. And then we'll dip. So the next one is dip and still try to look at that hand above your head. So now we're going to do the left side. So left one's on the bottom. Left one's on the top. And then I dip and lean as I look up. Back to where we started. Everything loose, everything relaxed. Minimal amount of tension. Even when we do this part, we lock just for a moment. Back off. And dip and look up. So let's do one more. And then again, we'll move on. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. Oh, look at that, music finishing up again. 5-minute increments. It's not a big deal with this set because I'm doing like 5 to 10 of each one. Only matters when I got some kind of timing going with the other ones. What are the other ones we gotta do? We haven't done this one yet here, I don't think. So you can keep your feet wherever they're comfortable, preferably not horse stance, but here or even closer if you want. Interlace your fingers and try to reach above your head to the ceiling. And then again, we back off. Dip to the side. And then again, if you can, push out. Back to the center. So this is another one, we always come back to the center. Come up, look up if you'd like. Again, a little variation with the neck. Dip to your left as far as you can go and breathe out. Back to the center. Reach up. So these, you have a tendency to tighten up your neck or your shoulders. So again, make sure you're staying relaxed. Don't want anybody cutting off the circulation of their brain too much. Reach, and then back up. All right, so that's the first one with that too. The variation would have been looking up. Next one to do after you reach up, come down, is to turn just the spine. Toes, knees, and hips stay forward. Turn the spine like a big spring, and again, reach up. And then back off. So there's no tilt of the spine sideways with that one. Back to the center, we reach up. Back off. Twist your spine to the left. Reach up. back off. So if some of you do not like this, if your shoulders don't agree with, hey, you're reaching above your head, then you're doing it maybe more in front instead of doing this. Because to be honest, everybody in this room here, if you can lift your arms above your head, you're good. You're in a good club. If you can't, most people, you get to like 50 maybe and above, people have a hard time getting their arm above their head because they haven't been doing it. So it's awkward. So if it's too much, then you can try in front here. And then you would do the same thing. Just turn. And try and reach out if you can. Back to center. You could go up or you can go in front, reach, back, to the sides. Reach, back to the side. So regardless, you can let your arms drop. When you have your arms locked in your hands and you start to engage your shoulders, you start feeling all different things in your back because all those muscles connect together. So let's do one or two more of them and then we'll move on. So the next one is to find your lower back and like as high as you can go, like you're trying to get to your kidneys. Squish, like you're giving yourself a back rub. You can kind of go up and down. The idea is to go more down. You're trying to get the blood moving down. If that's fine, try to come up on the ball of your foot. So you balance for a moment, come down. Balance, come down. Balance, come down. If you want to wake yourself up, if you feel like you're like lethargic and you're just lacking energy, you can kind of drop. You come up and you drop. And that kind of has to do with that, I've talked about before, you have acupressure points in your feet. You kick them like in the ball of your foot and massage. It kind of wakes up the person if they're passed out. For you, you can wake yourself up. Just kind of drop up on the ball and drop. Variation for this one. This one, shake the gates. That's the next part. Shake your hands. Get your arms moving, shoulders, a little bit of the neck muscles. That's fine. You bounce on the ball of your foot so the hips and knees are engaged. And if you're really good, you turn a little bit. So again, the idea, if you forgot your towel at the pool and you get out and you're soaking wet, you just want to do the dog shake, shake all the water off. 20 to 30 seconds, usually enough that when you stop, your fingertips look a bit red. You bring them together, they might feel tingly. You got the blood and the energy moving. All right. So the other one I jumped to that I was going to do is here. So kind of like what we started with, but now you find your kidneys. Chin up to begin, and then chin down. And you determine how far down you feel comfortable going. Trace the backside, your end, your hamstrings, calves, come to the front, your arms dangle. Shift your weight a few times from one hip to the other. Hands touch your shins, your knees, your thighs on the way up. You pin your shoulders back, and then you breathe out. So it might be 3 breaths. If you need to take more, you take more. You can take less if you want. So this would be inhale, all the way to here is exhale. Chin's up, inhale, arch your back, chin down, start to round the whole spine. Exhale. As far down as you can trace, can't touch your ankles, your toes, then you just come in front wherever you're good. And then back up, your hips and knees are slightly bent so you have some stability. And breathe out again. So if you have high blood pressure, you shouldn't be going too much past your heart with your head, unless you're comfortable with yourself and you know what you're capable of. Sometimes that can throw people's blood pressure off. So don't go all the way down if it's not comfortable. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Down here, you take however many you feel like, as far as breaths go, but try to coordinate on the way up, breathing in again. As you're unfolding your diaphragm, the lungs, you have more area to breathe with more capacity. So let's do one more, and we'll move on. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out as you fold. Couple breaths at the bottom if you want. Time to come up. Hips and knees are bent. Breathe in on the way up. Breathe out. Lock your knees and elbows for a moment. Relax your knees and elbows. All right, so those are the 8 pieces of brocade. A lot of talking, right? So hopefully you get the idea of what it is. Been around for like 1200. Right around the time Tai Chi started, I believe that's when these were implemented with the soldiers. Okay, so our Tai Chi fundamentals. We got half circle. Shift side to side, so you feel again like you're stable with your center of gravity being low. Arms shift forward. Arms draw down and back. You shift your weight. Spin the ball. Push your feet to your waist. Out to the hands. Same on the other side. Feet, waist. Arms and hands. Back to the center. Roll the ball down. So 5 directions. You got north, south. To the left is west. To the right is east. Center, that's the axis, the spindle. Poking is metal, or pushing. Pulling is wood. Shifting, feet, waist, arms to the left is water. Same to the other side. Fire. Solid and stable in the center, earth. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, almost like you gotta fall forward. Exhale, almost like you're gonna step back. Spin, shift. Hands just switch places. So one hand's level with the nose, the other's level with the navel. And then they switch again. And then shoulder high, and back to waist high. All right, so that's 5 root powers, all about stability and where your center of gravity is at and where the feet push. So the next one, let your hip and knee buckle. Turn your left hip. Shift back, you got cat stance. So now heel into bow stance. We have our 8 energies. These are all about the arm gestures. Ward off, roll back, press, pull, push, split. So every now and then when you do the split, you have to reset. So your feet are about one of these tiles apart, or as wide as your shoulders. So we just finished with the split, now we start it again. We got ward off, roll back, shoulder, elbow, press, pull, push, time to turn, split. So that's our 8. This is also like heaven, expanding, earth, grounding, mountain is your shoulder, canyon's the elbow, water at the bottom, pull, that's kind of like a plucking motion too, split, thunder. So hopefully everybody's breathing in and out comfortably, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So also here is your hand over your foot. So if there's a line, your toes are on it, your hand should be about there. Your elbows over your knee, and for the most part, your shoulders stay over your hips. Splash, flick. Push the ball into the water. Release some tension. A little slower on the second one. Third one, slowest, deepest. Let's see, that's the 3 pillars. When we do that, the alignment, feet, hands, elbows, knees, hips, shoulders. That's kind of common throughout a lot of other things, yoga and martial arts. It's alignments, it's where your body should be. Occasionally we do dip. There are some leaning things here and there. Yang 24, there's only a couple exercises where there's dipping of the spine. So let's do that. Time to do the Yang 24, compact. So we don't have to move around a whole lot. We go up and forward, down and back. So just like we started with the 5 root power, the 5 directions, we do part the horse's mane. 3 times. Go to the right. 3rd time. Left side. Turn your feet, shift into cat stance. Wind up your spine like a spring. On the way back, shoulder, elbow, wrist. Hands split, split again. You got white crane spreads its wings. Horse stance. Catch the ball. Again, nose and navel with your hands. When your bottom hand drops, your elbow drops. Your shoulder drops. Push in front. Sink a little more into your hips. Do this 3 times. Nose and navel. Hand and elbow drops. So that's brush knee. Sometimes it's called brush knee with push. And that's what you're doing. It's kind of explanation. It's what the exercise is doing. So then from here, our hand comes across, in front of our left shoulder, we strum. Like a little plucking or flicking movement again. Shift your weight, try and balance. Toes, heel. Toes straight, but your hips are turned 45 degrees. Bring your arm all the way back if you can, look at it. Keep your elbows down, push and pull. We got repulse monkey. So this is also called 3 pillars. The other thing was 3 harmonies. This is 3 pillars. The hand over the foot, elbow over the knee, shoulder, hip, knee, or shoulder, hip, foot. It's all the same stuff, just packaged in different ways. Same thing, twist, repulse monkey, sink into your back hip. So we got 4 of those. Feet, waist, hands and arms at the end, all the way to here. Feet, waist, arms at the end, all the way to here. Okay, now there's more familiar stuff. We got the 8, which will be collectively called grasp the sparrow's tail. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 just gets us to the other side, and we do it again. Ward off, roll back, shoulder, elbow, press, pull, push. Turn. Yep, all the way to here, cat stance. On the way back, we do shoulder, elbow, wrist, and then we set down in the horse, and there's split. Relax your shoulders, sink your hips. So now here's that, like the wave arms like cloud. Shift to your right to get started, then it's shoulder, elbow, wrist. And then to the right, shoulder, elbow, wrist. 3 of those, 3 sets. Inhale, exhale. And really, it's all coming from the feet. Inhale, exhale. So that was 3 sets. Elbow drops, hold the teacup, pinch, split, sink. So now I got to get on this corner here. So I turn my toes and I shift my weight back. Reach back and up, and then forward to the opposite side. Now we're on the right corner. Arms around the corners. Relax your shoulders, sink into your hips. If you can, try to balance. If that's peachy, toes straight, pull back, reach. Cat stance, bow stance, scrub, double punch, sink into it. Same on the left side. Cat stance, split, sink, balance, point, pull, reach. Okay, let's keep going. So we're still staying pretty much within 2 or 3 squares here. Right hand is the crane, the bird. Left hand is the snake. So it's gonna snake down, snake creeps, and then it kind of pops up. And there's our chop from earlier. Back to the front, feet, waist, arms, extra credit, stand on one leg. So then we do the other side. There's the crane, there's the snake creeping, turns out, pops up into the chop. Strum the guitar. When we do this, it's called rooster stands on one leg. Back to my 2 squares here. Big ball, squish it. By the time it gets to be a small ball, we flip it. Bow stance, push the ball away, and then the arms split. One hand by your temple, one reaches out. Same on the other side. Cat stance, catch the big ball, squish it, flip it, push it away. Back to where we're in cat stance. So now we got high, medium. Here's it again, one of the few times when we bend our spine forward. Scoop up, like you're opening a fan, and then at the end, push. The other hand pulls back. Block, toes up, turn, parry, bow stance, punch, straight out towards your heart. This hand wraps under, you scrub, like you're rolling a sleeve down. By that time, you come back to the front, and you push. Similar to the exercise we did at the very beginning of class, you scoop, but now your arms cross. You take in the deep breath, push the breath out. Then it all starts again, up, down. Right side gets us moving, part the horse's mane. In, out, in, out, twist, in, out. So if you think where we breathe, like if I'm twisting here, that's not the optimal time to breathe in. But as I'm starting to untwist, that would be breathing in. Little twist at the end, that would be the breathe out, if you want to get further into the breathing mechanism. So again, here I wait, but then I breathe in as I'm untwisting. Breathe out at the end. So catch, breathe in, breathe out. Here my chest and shoulders are still kind of open, so that's inhale. By the time I get to here, I'm starting to exhale. Set the foot down. So right here, again, I'm not going to breathe in when I'm twisting the torso. I wait until about here. In. And breathe out. Just how to make your breath deeper. Here I'm going to be restricted until here. So then inhale. Exhale. Reach behind. In when you're untwisting. Exhale. Squish. One more. In. Out. Catch the ball. So right here, I'm still a little twisted, so I wait. Inhale. Exhale. Squish the diaphragm at the end. In. Out as I'm gently twisting. In as I'm untwisting. All the way to here could be in. Out as I squish. No breath here. Now I'm square, in, out. So I'm just giving you the pattern. I'm beating it to death, but you get the idea. It's not just always in and out, it's where is your breath the most beneficial. Right here, I don't breathe until I unwind. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Relax your neck and shoulders. In. If you can't lift your leg real high, you can do it down here. Point, pull, reach down. But if you can hold it up, wonderful. 2 gold stars today. And breathe out. Relax your shoulders. In. Out. In. Out as you squish. In. Out. In. Out as you squish. In. Out. Work the shuttles. Out as you squish. In. Out. Needle at the bottom of the sea. Breathe out. In. out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Yep, slowing it down. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So again, like you're in a small hallway, it's only about as wide as your shoulders. Don't want to hit your elbow on the wall, so you keep your elbows down. And breathe out. In. 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 Out. Oh, she can hit those high notes, huh? In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. All right, so we're going to do it at least one more time, but any questions? Everybody got it down? Ready for your exam? Not so much, right? So the only thing, I'm not looking at anybody out of the corner of my eye too much because just can't see that much looking around on this one. But if you want with the balance ones, that's just the first. Try to get where you're just shifting. That's fine, you get up. Some of you are where you're bringing it up and pulling it in. That's good. So it's not just dangling out there once you get the balance and you have some control. On some of these, we try to get the knee in front of the navel, and then There's also this. Last month we did that a little bit. So when the rooster stands on one leg, that could be that one, where you kind of rotate your hip. Whereas the other one, strum the guitar, it just kind of comes up. It's not like, oh, you did that one wrong. It's different variations, and then it makes you have to challenge your brain to remember it. I know, I remember most of it for you folks, and you're just going for the ride, but some of you might be trying to remember ahead of me. You know what it is. You're always a step ahead, right? Because you're thinking ahead, like you know what it is, so you're not waiting, which is great.
Attention deficit disorder, I have to move faster.
Yeah, I know when I do like the medium speed, everybody's good, and then I slower, and you're like waiting. It's like slower. So we can do it. Dramatically faster. That's for self-defense. You can do
78 RPM. I'm on 33.
we can do it dramatically slower, and that takes more focus. If you're matching the breathing, more breathing capacity, but you can take more breaths. You can breathe 3 breaths for one exercise. But you find where you're comfortable with it. If you want to go slower, go slower.
I also don't really see you.
Yeah, so you're going at your own inside your head. You know what the next step is. So usually it's only the people on the far side that I get enough peripheral to kind of tell, like, oh, they're a step ahead or step behind or whatever. So, yeah, just for this set. Some other exercise, turn around, I face you guys, I can kind of see what you're doing a little bit. So, no questions, that was your break. You got a little break in there, right? Build it in. So, again, we're going to do it slow. If you want to do those things with the legs when they come up, you can try that. Waves of movement, waves like water. And breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Everything loose. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So as much as this one is the front hand pushing, it's the shoulder, the elbow, and the hand pulling too. One more. In, out, 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 in. So this is where you could try that, where you turn the hip. In, out, 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 in. We got enough for one more. So I don't know if you picked up and saw me doing this, but when I get started, I actually do kind of a shoulder elbow to the right before I do the part the horses may. So it gets the momentum going. In, out, 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 in, out. Just if you need to, every now and then you're drawn back. Out, in, 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 out. Oh, didn't do it that time, but rotate. In, out, 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 in, out. I get a little closer as I finish this. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, and out. So I know you all did fantastic, even though I wasn't looking too much, you know. You're all fantastic. So little details. Again, I don't know if people pick up on that little middle finger when your hands are doing this. That little middle finger just triggers a little bit. Call that trigger. Pericardium meridian, that's the idea with that. When we do snake creeps, it's like your toes are straight until you get to that opposite foot. And then your hip turns out, and then the other foot turns, and that gets you your bow stance. If you want to do it, a little sharper, we get to here, down, and then it turns, as opposed to just whenever, it kind of goes, that's the flow.
So the hand is palm towards you until you get down by your ankle, then it's palm out.
Because that's actually a block. That snake thing is blocking your face, blocking your midsection, getting underneath them. Could even be like a kick. Someone's kicking, you're like getting underneath them. So it gets pretty fancy with that whole snaky thing. The other hand, you try to get it kind of towards your tailbone. So it's not just dangling wherever. The reference point is like on the backside, your center line, above your tailbone. Yeah, the protection. Instead of just nothing, you got your hand, or it would have been sweeping something away. So there's a lot of the sets, you do it and you cover your tailbone. You come up, it's covering to the side, or it's covering the backside. So it's like, you're gonna get hit anyway, better not to just take on a full shot, so you cover. And I think that was the highlights that I, out of the corner of my mind, or corner of my eye, I kind of saw again. It's like, oh, a couple little details. If you have questions, stay after. Otherwise, be safe, be well. Enjoy the cool weather for a couple more days.